Hi, this is Steve at Hilltops IT, and in this video we're going to take a quick look at QuoteWerks VBS scripting. If you remember from my last video, if you watched that, the ConnectIt-Avalara automation, I talked about how we automated that through VBS scripting, and those are the scripts that I'm going to take you through in this video. So we had a script that ran after the contact was selected. That's this after contact selection.vbs. If you're familiar with Visual Basic or VBS, then you'll be familiar with what's going on here. I'm declaring a few variables at the top, I'm then initializing those, and this is where we get into the real meat of what the application is doing. If you're familiar with VBS, you'll realise I'm doing a lot of stuff that perhaps isn't necessary. I don't actually need to declare these variables, I can just create them on the fly. But it's just the way that I code to make everything absolutely clear, both for myself and for anybody else reading it, really. We could probably cut this script down to about 6 lines if we really wanted to, but like I say, I like to keep things nice, neat, tidy, clear, so that when it comes to editing it in the future, I'm going to know exactly what I was doing and why I was doing certain things. So the first real meat of it is where we get the address type of the contact that we're selecting. Now these are defined within the QuoteWerks API reference. If I look at the after contact selection event, it's telling me that if it's a value of 0, it's sold to, if it's a value of 1, it's shipped to, and if it's a value of 2, then it's billed to. And that's exactly what I've got here. I've also got this case else. I'm a big fan of coding defensively, coding safely, and those looking out for those "it should never happen, but what if it does" moments. There's improbable stuff that happens, and there's impossible stuff that happens as well, and anybody with any coding experience, that these things will occasionally occur. So what I'm doing here is, if it's not 0, 1 or 2, then I'm just going to pop up a message box just to inform my user that something unexpected has happened. They can then come to me and correct it. So now I know my address type, I've got that assigned to my string address type variable there, and getting into shelling the ConnectIt executable. Now ConnectIt ConnectIt-Avalara takes at least one parameter. In the case of resolving addresses, it can take up to 2. So I'm telling it the application that I want to shell. I'm also telling it that the process I want it to run is resolve address, and I'm telling it the address type that I want to do, ship to, sold to or billed to. Now if the address type is 1, i.e. ship to, I'm also going to ask it to get the tax rate. So that's how we've set it up to be able to do the processes that you saw in that last video. Just a little tidy up, again, I like to be nice and neat. We're just deallocating that memory that we gave to object shell. Probably a little bit redundant in these times with more modern operating systems, but that's a convention that I used way back in Visual Basic 4, I think it was, that I first started coding with. So that's our after contact selection. We also saw the before saved document, which is where we got the tax rate. Now there's a whole bunch of stuff in here that I really do not need for this script, but this is my template that I use for before save, before print, a number of different event types, and it holds a lot of things that I really want to be able to check and be sure are happening or not happening. I actually only need this line and this line, within this script for it to work. All this is doing is creating my object, this shell application, which then allows me to execute the ConnectIt executable with the parameter get tax rate. So why have I got all this other stuff in? It comes down to that sort of it should never happen, but maybe it does type of scenario. And also because I don't want this script to run if it's an autosave that's triggered. Autosave, if you've seen the feature in QuoteWerks, that runs every X many minutes, and I don't need this to run every X minutes. I just want it on those big saves when I'm doing hitting the save button. So going from the top here, appreciate I'm jumping around a bit. These parameters here allow me to control how the script reacts in different scenarios. Very often I'll find a before save document script is also relevant for before print. With these parameters I can just change one value here from true to false, and it understands that it's on a before print rather than a before save, and it reacts slightly differently. We've also got this, do I want to run on autosave? Again, in complementing this before save autosave action, it complements that further down in the script. Finally, we've got cancel event on failure. Now that isn't relevant to this script, I just want it to run. But in the scenario where I was perhaps doing validation in this script, checking that a field was populated or had a particular value, that type of thing, when I get to the bottom of the script, it may cancel the event that was running. So I hit save, I get prompted X field needs to be populated, and it doesn't allow me to continue. It doesn't allow me to save, or it doesn't allow me to print until I've filled out that mandatory field. Again, going back to the top here, we've talked about this autosave action. As you'll see, I've got all the other types of save. Again, those are defined in the QuoteWerks API help guide. If I can find before save document. Okay, so these are again all the values that this event could trigger. I'm including them all because I never know when they might be needed. I've commented some out because they're not required for this script, but I'll comment those in and out depending on the particular script that I'm working on, but at least they're there for future reference. What I really don't like to see in code is what's commonly called magic numbers. You know, later on down here I've just got a random 4. What does that 4 mean? Well, that 4 means the document header save action autosave. It's much clearer defining it within a constant rather than just having, like I say, magic numbers. Okay, so these are my kind of standard variables that I will include. This is just specific to this script, and again these are ones that I will have in most scripts that I execute. This Boolean run script, this factors in when I'm doing certain checks on the document, and it just helps me keep all my code to the left hand side rather than having a huge nested if of different statements. I just have this Boolean script, I'll check it along the way, and if it's true here, then I'm going to carry on. If it's true here, then I'm going to carry on. If it's true here, then I'm going to do the actual meat of the script itself. Doc index, that's checking that there is a document open. Now, before save, of course there's going to be a document open. You know, how can there not be a document open if the before save event is triggered? Well, that comes down to this sort of impossible action that might occur. If you've been around coding for long enough, you know that impossible scenarios do occur. QuoteWerks can sometimes glitch with respect to the programmers. It does sometimes glitch, and you know, these random things can happen. So by coding defensively, I'm making sure that my script doesn't also throw a wobbly when QuoteWerks goes a bit awry too. So I'm getting my document index. That should be a value of 0 or above. What I'm saying is, if it's less than or equal to 0, then don't run anything else. There isn't a document open. Don't carry on with what you're doing. Here we're looking at the particular type of save event. So looking at this, I do want to run this because I am running this on the save event. So this is going to be true, this is going to be true, so it is actually going to execute this piece of code typically. And it's looking at those O-event params, again defined in here, our save action. And it's saying if it's autosave, then adopt the value should I run on autosave, which is the one here. I'm saying don't run on autosave. So that's going to set my run script to false and not execute this final step. When we come through this, obviously this is then shelling the ConnectIt application, and as we spoke about a moment ago, it's going to get that tax amount. Coming down to the final part, if we want to cancel the event on a failure, which is true, and there has been a cancel event triggered. Well, in this script there wasn't, but if in that scenario I gave before, where we're validating fields, perhaps I've set it to true, it is going to cancel the event for us. And again, just a final tidy up. I hope you found this video useful. If you'd like to know more about QuoteWerks scripting, if you'd like further examples, the number's on the website, or leave a comment in the YouTube video. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you on the next one.